I personally realized that I need to look for retirement places like around 2018. But the more I'm traveling, I was traveling in Mexico and I meet people from Florida, from California, Americans, from Canada. And I was asking, sometimes people from Florida, guys, what you are doing here? Because we are Canadian, for Canadians to move to Florida, it's kind of a paradise. Many Canadians dream to move to Florida, and you are here, like in Querétaro or in San Miguel de Allende or other places. And I listen to the stories that even with good pension, people looking, sometimes, political environment, people cannot feed. And I was dealing with medical tourism. That's why I know about medical tourism and private tourism in Mexico.
Hello and welcome to AMAR TV, the platform where we spotlight ideas, innovations, and leaders shaping the future of the retirement living industry, wellness, and the longevity economy. My name is Karla Silva. I'm your host today, and I am a communications specialist and consultant focused on building strategic alliances, business development, and cross-border initiatives. Today, I am truly honored to welcome our special guest, Emily Brun, for a conversation that I'm confident it will spark new perspective and inspire meaningful action in this evolving sector. Emily is an international lifestyle and retirement consultant, founder of International Lifestyle Consulting, and host of the podcast Age of Reinvention. With a professional background spanning from scientific research and international banking to more than 2 decades in corporate consulting in Canada, she now specializes in cross-border retirement strategy and the longevity economy. Emily, welcome to AMAR TV. You have such a fascinating and diverse background. To set the stage for our conversation, please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Okay. I'm Emily Brun, owner and advisor of International Lifestyle Consulting Company. I lived and moved from country to country several times in my life. I changed several times my professional direction. And last 6 years, I devote to my company and to other people who looking for retirement places abroad. I selected for myself Mexico, and I advise people, and I can explain why Mexico is good for me and can be also good for others. I can only add that lately I'm also involved with startup companies because I'm personally looking for innovation in as well in retirement living, but in all the opportunities that current technological wave is providing to us, and retirement living and baby boomers and these options always on the back of my mind. So I hope in some time I will announce, some tools or some projects that I'm involved. I was already involved in 2 startup projects related to real estate in Mexico, but this one is different. It's more of technology, and I believe technology, when it works for us, it's really good.
Okay. So, anyways, I'll do the first question, and we'll try to to kind of move along. So he said, Emily, you reinvented yourself across countries, industries, and stages of life. At what point did you personally realize that the traditional idea of retirement, or even the American dream, no longer fit the reality you were seeing?
Look, I live in Canada, so I probably should have Canadian dream. But actually, I've seen how American and Canadian dream, unfortunately, disappearing for many people in United States and Canada. And at the beginning, I thought it's only me, immigrant who coming in the middle of life, starting from zero every time, learning language. But when I realized how many people who born in United States and Canada cannot, for some reason, really looking for places to retire, and Mexico is kind of close by and very good place to spend your golden years, being still connected with family up north. So I personally realized that I need to look for retirement places like around 2018. But the more I'm traveling, I was traveling in Mexico, and I meet people from Florida, from California, Americans, from Canada, and I was asking, sometimes people from Florida, guys, what you are doing here? Because we are Canadian, for Canadians to move to Florida, it's kind of a paradise. Many Canadians dream to move to Florida, and you are here, like in Querétaro or in San Miguel de Allende or other places. And I listen to the stories that even with good pension, people looking, sometimes, political environment, people cannot feed. Medical services, apparently, and I was dealing with medical tourism. That's why I know about medical tourism and private tourism in Mexico. I can compare it with other countries. It's actually how I started. My business started from the medical tourism in Costa Rica and Mexico, and I can tell them whatever I need. Like I do all my dental work in Mexico with doctors that I rely and already have connections for years. But it's my example. But all this component of life, what is important when you after 50, good climate.
Mhm.
And Mexico has variety of climates,
Yeah.
good and variable cultural environment, which I very appreciate. Rich culture, history, nature. In Mexico, you have more UNESCO sites than the United States and Canada taking together.
Ah. Yes.
So, for person like me, it's very important. I know that in Mexican culture, dynamic and population, and I see the middle class growing, and from year to year going to the same cities. Like I will be now in Querétaro after 3 years, but I always see something new is building roads, industrial complexes. Malls, educational system. So the more I communicate with Mexican, the more I'm happy. I'm happy to see dynamic, people looking with optimism to the future, comparing with other countries. And I'm following the news. Even like in Canada, in United States, many people, young people, don't see so many opportunities. I would say not so optimistic like Mexicans are.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Canadian dream or American dream. There's a shift there, and also, the migration that a lot of people they used to move to Florida. So now, do you think this shift is mainly financial? Because of course or it is emotional. Are people leaving because they can afford to live in the U.S. or Canada, or because they're searching for something deeper? What do you think is the main shift?
Different people have different aspiration and have different ideas. I don't want to move to Florida, even somebody will pave me the road. It's my, and just don't, offend anyone. I'm not against the Florida, but it's not my place. Like I feel in Mexico, and it's not only cost of living, which actually define your, level of comfort and medical facilities.
Mhm.
And but I like this family-oriented culture
Mhm.
that Mexicans still possess, and it's obvious for me. So I like this sense of, freedom that people came to help each other. I don't want to say that it does not exist in other countries, but, even when I was the first time, a couple of times when I was in Playa, and I'm not speaking Spanish, just believe, but my Mexican friend will always surprise saying me, look, you're here just 3 days and you know more people than I am living here.
Yeah, and that's also your personality, of course, because there's something
Yeah.
that there's you use the idea of lifestyle optimization. Is Mexico becoming a place where retirees aren't downsizing, but actually upgrading their lives?
Yes, I think so. And I understand why. Look, yes, financial component is important. If on your pension you can afford better, life environment, and you can afford, for Americans, it's very important, better medical care. You're not so stressed out, that you don't, is that you outlive your pension or your saving,
Mhm.
and at the same time you can travel, you can meet another people, converse. I think for people who are open to learn from other cultures, from other people, Mexico providing a lot of opportunities. People are different. So if people are happy in Florida, okay, let it be. If other people looking to some cultural exchange, and I was always open to it, and I can tell you from cultural perspective, or maybe I cannot say that I have seen all museums in United States, no. But in Mexico, there are so many museums and natural parks and architectural treasures that
Yeah.
I took already several tours, but I know that there is still a lot of to cover for me.
Yeah. Now, from your perspective, are real estate developers in Mexico truly understanding what is this 50 plus North American demographic, what they want, or are they just selling property without building community?
you know uh, there are such people or developers who understand, and that's why I'm interested to mingle more kind of with your community. And there are some developers who building, and again, there is a lot of digital nomad young crowd. Some people need just vacation properties, but I really envisioned even before that, okay, there are already officially 2 million of Americans and Canadians living in Mexico. And when I say officially, I mean temporary or permanent residency, and somebody going to Mexican citizenship.
Mhm.
There is a big, and even better, part of Latino, culturally from different countries living in United States and Canada.
Mhm.
And I met several already kind of second generation Mexican, meaning Mexican Americans who born from Mexican parents
Mhm.
who moving to Mexico because they feel they have this interest. Even parents are still working or maybe retiring in United States. I was surprised. The young people leaving their career and homes in Texas or say in the same Florida and moving to Mexico because probably it provide more opportunities, or because I was asking the direct question, they feel like a more open society in Mexico. They speak Spanish, they have kind of this advantage. And I understand why I started to do what I was doing with international lifestyle consulting, that I have already experience of immigrating several times in my life. I know that it's not easy. And it's specifically not easy when you after 50, 60, and sometimes you are alone because I was moving with my family. But in this stage, many women, by the way, moving alone.
Mhm.
Some couples moving, leaving behind their children because they're still working. And there's a lot of challenges to start new life in the new, even, it's friendly environment, even kind of some problems can be taken over by some other services, but you need a community and professionals who understand and know, this kind of people. Speaking about the projects, and I was, and I'm still have big interest to development project for active retirement
Mhm.
and for assisted living.
Mhm.
And as I mentioned to you once, that I even took several times. I was traveling with doctor from Toronto, who works a lot with geriatric communities and services here, to evaluate and look to the model of assisted living in Jalisco and Lake Chapala area. You have different models.
Mhm.
And I visited a couple of assisted living and retirement homes in Aguascalientes, in Querétaro, and in Mazatlan.
Mm.
And Mexican model, whatever we have seen, already working. It's different, and I believe providing more lifestyle opportunities for
Mhm.
elderly people because of climate, because of good food,
Mm.
and and when I say climate, elderly people spend a lot of time outside on the sun.
Mhm.
If in our, I mean, in Canadian, American big facilities, like 9 months or even 10 months, people spend inside the building because of climate and because of, I don't know, protocols.
Mhm.
In Mexico, in these haciendas, private style, where there's 20, 25 people, there is opportunity to be outside. So you really in a family.
Mhm.
It's a family home with ladies who coming and helping. And by the way, I prefer ladies helping and taking care of me, as I imagine, rather than a robot. I don't know, robot maybe for some other purposes,
Yeah.
but take care. I think women, they more wired to
Mhm.
this, and Mexican women who still know and remember, how to take care of family.
Right. So, I mean, now I guess we agree that, the American dream or Canadian dream is moving south. And, that, from what you're saying, I guess Mexico is structurally ready or getting ready in terms of the healthcare, the infrastructure, and age-friendly community design. So if you look ahead 10 years, do you believe Mexico could become the global capital of active retirement and longevity living? And what would need to happen for that to become a reality?
Again, Mexico got this opportunity already natural. I mean, people are living and to live in Mexico, living their countries.
Mhm.
I believe there are already good models of assisted living and active living communities projects. And I have seen in Querétaro, by the way, it's a Spanish model, to select the best one. Probably, and I believe that Mexican government should develop some incentives, for developers or for investors to build these communities. And I think more the communities should be of different kind, and I mean different level of pricing in complexity.
Mhm.
And I know, like for example, La Publita, it's one of the communities that I personally visited in Lake Chapala. It's a good idea, but probably financially and somehow it was not viable, and
Mhm.
it's kind of didn't happen. So learn from the mistakes of past communities or whatever didn't work with other projects, and create. And I know there are already projects who are working to attract people, but to understand who you are attracting to. I mean, and I'm against the big, 300, 400 big condos,
Mhm.
which we have in up north. I believe that, and I know a couple of projects where they all, separate homes. So, like, I'm not the architect to the design now what is a better option. But I know that there are architects. There are already database of projects and the base accessibility, elements. It's what people need with assisted living. Just thoughtfully to analyze whatever is available. And I believe there are already projects with all these accessible elements in a building, which in Mexico, there are a lot of projects. There is a booming of construction.
Yeah.
So it's a niche which already viable with people. And again, many people arrive without children, without. So it's what I was thinking, like, okay, what would be with me in 10, 20, who know how many years? And other point that probably you mentioned, there are many retirees going to Panama, to Belize, to Costa Rica. But I don't know if they have assisted living facilities or such facilities as Mexico can build for these people as well.
Wow. I mean, it's
So this way, Mexico can really become a capital if there are enough different projects. And I have seen, and I know in Merida they are building, but to understand, again, pain point and differences, some cultural differences of people who arrive. And there are already enough people in Mexico to make some statistic. I can help you if you wish, or somebody interested, and create communities or to build up to these communities, and people will be going to live together.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we're reinventing, right? We're redesigning longevity. Mexico is an ideal destination. And this is, continuous conversation because, as I mentioned, we're rebuilding, we're redesigning longevity. Emily, I want to thank you so much for your expertise, your experience that you share, and all your valuable insights with our AMAR TV audience. Your perspective in this cross-border retirement and longevity economy truly enriches this important conversation about how we live, invest, and thrive in the next stage of our lives. To all our viewers, I want to thank you for joining us. And if you find this conversation valuable, please subscribe and like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow AMAR TV for more conversations with leaders shaping the future of retirement living, wellness, and sustainable communities. I also want to take this opportunity to invite everybody to see AMAR 2026, taking place October 21st and 22nd city. It will be an extraordinary gathering of industry leaders, innovators, and visionaries driving the future of the longevity economy. We look forward to seeing you there and in our next episodes of AMAR TV. Emily, if you want to share some last words with our audience.
Thank you very much again. And I am happy that Mexico taking seriously this opportunity, that there are such events that you mentioned already 6, 7, how many times. And I believe the more and more participants will join Mexico. Maybe I will participate, I will see at my schedule. And I believe, I'm sure when people in Canada, in United States, will know about projects which already launched, like kind of marketed as specific for retirement communities. These retirement communities will be very, wanted.
I know. It's good to start looking and deciding soon because, of course, also prices are going up, and there's going to be a lot of demand. Well, thank you so much again. It was a pleasure having you. I look forward to seeing you in AMAR 2026 in Mexico City or in any other of our programs. Thank you for now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.